Hi guys, welcome back. So, I have been doing some prep for basically a way for me to use up all my materials as well as I'm using up my mixed media pieces. So this is a bit of mount board that I've cut out of making a frame, a bit of mount board to go into a picture frame to frame an artwork within that frame. I know there's a lot of words in frame, but basically this is the offcut of the centre. I've cut a little bit out here, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this down here, trim that off a little bit, and then use it. And then I've actually started recently doing this on a painting, using my mixed media pieces to slot in, stick them down, and then paint over them to become a blank canvas. So for one, I'm not using anything up, and two, it's a completely different texture and substance to use to be able to, well, create an artwork with. So we're just going to do that. I've got a cup of tea, so I thought we'll just sit down and chat because why not? It's a lovely Thursday evening. I spent the day doing lots of admin and I feel like I've organised my life, which is a nice surprise as always. You know, I just love it when you feel like you've got a life. Being an adult and you've managed to get everything done before lunchtime and you're like, oh, I get to relax and just do what I want for the rest of my day. Okay, so that's one bit. I'll just trim off, make these bits nice and neat. So going for quality rather than for quantity. This because if anyone doesn't know, when you even if it's just going off of my schedule, if I'm making 4 artworks a week or in the process of making one over several weeks, you run out of space very quickly. So you need to make sure that the artwork that you're producing is about quality rather than quantity. Trim that bit off. The side I'm going to be using is the black side. I find it is quite alluring and gets your attention. I'm just going to grab some pre-made bits of collage. They don't have to match up equally, and they don't have to be covered in tin foil. Not tin foil, baking paper either. Tissue paper, that's the word. Just need to be fill the gap large enough, like that. Okay, I've got my double-sided sticky tape, this is basically what's left at the moment. It's very aesthetic and pleasing to use because this has got a bit of like a tape on it, so you stick it down first and then you peel it off, and it's just so satisfying. So how we're going to stick these down is just by looking how much we need, so about that much. Do one on each side, so it should be semi-level. I think this was about £3 from Amazon. It was a really good buy actually, but you can only use so much, as in you run out pretty quickly. I mean, I've used enough for a larger piece, and I've used half a roll, but to be honest, it's lasted. The other piece is going to have to be about there. Yeah, so that's step down. We're just going to peel back the tape. This is the fiddly bit there. There we go. Like that. Like I said, so satisfying. Stick this one in the middle because it's also curving up at the sides, so I can tuck it in if I need to. We only get about 2 pieces on. There you go. What I just have to do is just make these lines a bit more crisp. What colour should I go for? I think because this is already blue, I'll mute it with a blue colour. Okay. Just got some white spirit. Folding bits of it back to reveal bits of the texture, like so. Makes it easier for it to fight with. It's very bright blue. What I'll do, we'll put that to the side and let it dry, and then I'll go back over it in maybe a chalk or charcoal and just go from there. Because what I can do, I can layer it with chalk. If I can get my words out, I can layer it with chalk and go back and draw onto it in charcoal from like a little study or something along those lines, and then afterwards obviously I can crisp up these sections because this is looking very not crisp. Like if I just do this. Just makes it look that a little bit nicer. Like already just doing that corner has made it a little more sharper. So this will go off to the side. And we'll paint the other one whilst we're here. The whole idea of it is to add, subtract, add, subtract, subtract, and add, and just continuously go backwards and forwards to disrupt and expose what is already there. This white spirit mixture is just to blanken the canvas, but you've still got the lovely features of it all, which is what I'm aiming for. For a very long time I was trying to work out what I wanted from this artwork, and it's the different marks that I want from it, and the different textures and the layering and all the lovely little mark making bits that have been used from basically creating these. I learned that from a quote, I think it was watching a Tracy Emin documentary about herself and her life, and I think someone asked her, how do you create artwork? And I think one of the questions was, how do you, I'm so into this I can't even answer the question. It's what do you want out of the artwork? If you can't answer that, then you haven't solved the issue of what you want from the artwork, basically. Oh God, it's 10 to 7 already. There we go. So once again, what I'm going to do is let this dry, go back over the top with chalk, and then go back in with charcoal in terms of a drawing, or if there's anything else. That's kind of like the basic premise. If I figure out about something in the meantime, I can even go back over with oil pastels once this is dry. But the main thing is just put it aside, let it dry, and go back over it and just figure out what I want from it. I'm enjoying it. I know some of you might have enjoyed the features of them beforehand, but it's nice, but it's not what I want. And it's very hard to get over that line of, yeah, that artwork's nice, but is it doing what I want it to do? And that is very hard to get over. So as soon as I hear that in my head, I'm like, okay, it needs to be sorted. Yes, I make sure I take a picture of it or a reference, so that if I do regret it, sometimes I do, I can then look back and see at what point of the stage was I not enjoying it, or did it start to work better than the end result. It's always about going backwards and forwards and figuring out what you want from an artwork, what you want from a medium, what you want it to translate into. And for that, this is just one of the processes that I do. Within the art world, I feel like all you really see is the end process. You only really see someone sit down and create an artwork. They don't see the process and the admin and the theory and the practical and all the dead ends and everything in between. You never really get to experience that, and I feel like that's so much more interesting sometimes than the actual outcome than the final piece, because you have that backstory, you have that knowledge and the struggles of everything that the artist has gone through, and then you don't really physically need a conversation about what the artwork is about and all the nonsense, should we say, of an artist talk. Only when it's needed, or when someone has a question about it. I feel like you shouldn't have to be able to explain your work. It should be like, this is the process, watch the process, and this is what I have come out with, or the material has come out with, or the process has come out with. But anyway, that's just my side of the story. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this video a like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment anything you'd like to say down below. That'd be great. But in the meantime, thanks again, and don't forget to check out my description box for links to all my social medias, and also my eBay sell and count, which is where you'll find all my artworks that I feature on my channel, as well as these when they eventually get drawn on. But in the meantime, thanks again. I shall see you guys later. Bye.